What you see here is a very ancient way of working. But beyond that, we've developed a lot of techniques here which are unique to Whichford. So we like people to come and witness that.
The beginning of the process is the clay being delivered in its raw form. It's dug from 3 different quarries, and we've developed a recipe through meticulous testing to give us our frostproof terracotta clay.
And it will come down here into the storage tank in here. This is all slit, clean clay in the bottom there.
We process about 5 tonnes of clay a week. That's a lot.
Then sucks it up this pipe here by that hydraulic ramp.
And this pure clay is then pumped into the filter press. And when you open up the filter press, you are left with these beautiful sheets of absolutely pure clay.
The person who's throwing a big pot would like the clay to be a bit firmer so that the body will hold. A smaller pot can be a bit softer.
When they've got their prepared clay, which has taken them over a month to prepare it, it's put on a trolley and sent upstairs in a lift, and the throwers then have to work their magic on the clay.
Being a thrower takes a certain kind of mentality, I think. You have to be fairly stubborn. It's a very frustrating skill to learn. They say 10,000 hours. It's 10,000 plus, if you ask me. And it doesn't stop.
I've been here for 16 years and I'm still learning to this day.
The technique that we use here, that I've learnt from my father, he learnt from 5th generation itinerant potters, and anyone who learns to throw here is taught that same technique.
You will start making very small things where you'll learn the repetition, and then as that develops and your strength grows, you then enhance the technique with the power and you just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
The reason this place works is it's based on very firm traditional techniques, but it doesn't stand still. Tradition never stands still. If it stands still, it dies.
Once the throwers have thrown their wares, they are then left overnight to dry, to stiffen slightly, so that the decorators can work them without deforming them, but whilst they're still malleable enough to take the detail of the mould.
They've got, I don't know how many hundreds of different designs they're meant to know how to put on, so there's a lot of different skills there.
It's just really enjoyable working hands-on in a really nice environment, you know, it's just really satisfying. It is about the attention to detail and about a kind of uniform standard as well. For people coming up to see us working here, they see what detail and what time spent over each pot, and it, you know, gives them an idea of the actual immensity of getting even one pot out there.
If you make by hand, you need more people. You're making a high value product which will last a long time. By definition, we need long-term employees because it takes a long time to pick up the skills. It's keeping alive a way of working which modern corporate life would have us believe is inefficient. It is not inefficient, it is highly efficient in social terms. Obviously, to keep a tradition alive, you've got to keep new people coming in.
One of the first tasks that any apprentice undertakes is learning how to load and unload a kiln.
The pots were dried out above the kiln for a couple of weeks, and then we're dropping them down into the kiln. So it's a very efficient way of drying out the pots and then packing the kilns.
Once the kiln's loaded, then we say a little prayer to the kiln gods.
So they'll fire up for about a day to 1060 degrees, 10,600 degrees Celsius, and then it'll take another couple of days to cool down before we can get them out and get them into the stockyard. As we unpack the kilns, we do a bit of quality control. We want to make sure every single pot we sell as a first is perfect, and anything that's not quite perfect will get sold as a second at a slight discount.
This is the Straw Kitchen. It's the cafe based at Whichford Pottery. It's already linked with their sort of notion of handmade, homegrown kind of products. It's such a beautiful location. It's just a good opportunity for people to spend a nice day here, from having your early coffee, walking around the pottery, seeing how the pots are made, coming back for lunch, and then maybe finishing in the shop with a few gifts and a pot to walk away with.
There's a pretty constant flow of pots through this place. It's like a big handmade factory. From my point of view, from a potter trying to train himself perspective, this place is brilliant. There's very few places like it in the country where you can train on the job, get some real experience in a proper workshop environment. We get visitors come around here all the time, and it's nice to be admired in the workplace. So they're not just admiring the pots out in the courtyard, they're coming up here, seeing how everything is made by hand. As an employee, it makes you feel a little bit special.
Undoubtedly, each pot is a collaboration between the whole team. From the clay processing, the throwers, the decorators, the servicers, the kiln loaders, the people who glaze the pots, through to the packing and delivery. Not to mention the people that are welcoming customers. All these jobs are completely essential to the working of the pottery.
If you visit Whichford, you'll immediately sense that there's a community here, and that's actually the best thing about working here, I think. The other thing is that when you come round, you'll see that there aren't any secrets here. It's just skill. And that's what makes a good pot.